Think we're live.
We
How
are.
you guys doing? How's everybody
Good.
doing?
Good.
Another day, another dollar, my friend. Another
Yeah,
dip.
I guess so.
Oh my goodness. I like the new shades, man.
What are you talking about?
This is the best. This is the best start we've got.
Pretty sure
here.
Clay is our bottom indicator. So thank
Yes.
you, Clay. Everybody, hip hip
What a
hooray.
gift! What a
That
gift!
is so awesome. Now, was that a gift from your subscribers, or was this a new acquisition?
The future is cheap now. He's a YouTube guy. He led me onto these, and I'm forever grateful.
Yeah.
And he just had a kiddo, so congratulations, dude. Big congrats.
That's awesome.
All right.
So, all right, dude. Those are. I have so many questions. We'll get to them in just a second. Let's say some hellos to the chat. Fire Knife Hexagon, Fatal Fury, good to see you. Hey, what's good? We'll Pulse launch at the 18th. Let's talk about that today. Luke Wild, good to see you. PulseChain Hex game, let's go. Let's go indeed. This has been a fun 24 hours, huh?
Oh,
It's been super fun. How cool is it that it can be so fun and yet I have no moves to make? I'm just like, this is great. Staked, whatever. I'm not doing anything. It's
Your dollar cost averaging while the price is dipping automatically. You don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
when I watched you and Maddie on that stream, it was right after things picked up, and I literally was feeling the energy coming directly through the screen.
He thought it was an hour later, so I messaged him 10 minutes before. He's like, "Oh, let me get ready." But then he was like, with the pump and him, the conversation he had, he was really, really excited. My thing is, Davis, thank you so much for the super chat.
No, don't thank Davis. He's a flat earther. Hey, Davis,
by the way,
Davis has been begging me to get on a chat with this David Weiss guy who's a prominent flat earther, and he happens to be a day one hexagon. So we're having a conversation on Monday with old David Weiss. Davis, you got your way. He bought his way into this.
Davis, I'm still saying thank you for the super chat. And Mike Mac, good to see you. What I realized though yesterday is just I just like rooting for stuff. I like rooting for Hex. I like rooting for PulseChain. I like. I remember I used to live in the mountains, driving in a ski town, and we were driving to the big town to go do stuff. And one time, a whole bunch of horses broke out, and you could tell that the ranchers were completely stressed. These horses were running down the highway, and I felt bad for the ranchers, but I just remember being like, go. If those horses wanted so badly, if someone's like, let's go for it, 15 horses running down the highway, I was rooting for them. So
that's awesome. Hey, there's Davis is in the chat, which we appreciate. G is here.
G
Hexturbator. Nice. Davis. Well, oh no.
See what he does? Goes. I told you.
Oh no.
He's gonna give away his life savings right now because don't pay attention to Davis. Everybody knows.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Robin asked about Richard's post last week promoting the Dharma app. I'm thinking it's just how we're going to purchase Pulse with Cash. Thoughts? You guys have any thoughts on that Dharma app?
I'm not familiar with it, quite honestly.
Yeah, I downloaded it and I looked at it. I mean, it's an on-ramp for USD into, it's an on-ramp. It's an on-ramp of fiat, and I think it's actually pretty cool that there's one like that. But, it's another way, right? And it may be a smoother process to get people in from fiat into crypto.
And I think that's probably why Richard would promote it. I remember hearing when it first came out that people from New York were excited, I guess, because they have a really hard time with on-ramping.
Mango Junkie, what's up, my man?
Mango. Yeah. Always good to see Mango Junkie. Davis, love the lurk. Here's a situation with Davis that I love. It's like being a grandparent. I can be nice to Davis, but you got to deal with him, Brandon. So Davis, I love you, man. Thanks for being here.
Dude, he extorts me every single stream with dollars, $5 bills. I lose my integrity $5 at a time, dude.
That's all right. I don't mind getting paid for you to lose your integrity.
Well, you know what? That's what I'm here for. I'm the punching bag.
Oh my gosh,
dude. It's gonna take me probably 45 minutes, and there's no guarantee for me to get over those glasses.
Dude, you know what's going to be crazier is when they magically change in the middle of the stream.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, so Super Chat shows up on your glasses.
Yeah, dude, I could put $5. I'm not going to put Davis's ass on my glasses, but that's going to cost a lot. That's like $1,000 premium right there.
Yeah.
I can program this thing from my phone.
Dude, you're monetizing your eyeballs. This is incredible. The fact that you can, pay up to get onto those glasses.
I thought about that. I thought about reaching out to Pepsi or something. Once we have like 200,000 person streams, I can make a lot of money off these damn things.
Well, I mean, it's going to take you a while to break even. You must have paid a ton of money for them.
Well, no, it was Davis's mom paid for him for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mike Mack, what's up, man? Let's go, Clay. Hashtag. Y'all got to start that hashtag in Twitter.
Let's go, Clay. Yeah, there you go. We're about spinning things and making it positive. I like that. Let's go, Clay. You might get some unfollows, but hey, by the way, what's up, Sandy B? Sandy B is my new favorite chat troll.
Yes,
in a good way.
Yes.
I've gotten a couple lulls from the Sandy B comments. I'm in crypto or iron crypto. Sorry. What are the edges? I don't know what that is.
I don't know either.
You know what the edges are? All right, getting there in chat. And G's giving Davis some props. I'm just gonna show a couple more here.
Yeah.
Sandy B. Ken Homestead. Okay, wait. Let's get Ken Homestead said that he used Dharma once. 5 days until you can release your hacks. Okay, so good to know. That just seems to be crypto on ramping, unfortunately, until you show some until you show some history there. Like friends that are trying to get on Coinbase can't even give them money, and they're trying other things, but everyone's just doing their best. And it looks like there's some whispers of some things happening where people are working on ramps. So if they're working on ramps and Richard Hart's promoting Dharma, I think that can only be best.
Yep.
For us. So,
dude, Matt, tell us what's going on in your world, dude. I mean,
5K subs. 5K
God
subs,
dang, man, you're taking over. Who are you paying off,
dude?
What's the deal?
I'm blown away by it. It's been incredible. Yeah, we hit 5,000 last night. We did a live stream that had terrible video quality. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate that. I have no idea what happened to that, but yeah, it's incredible. I mean, 42 days ago, I started my first video with my buddy Ray, and we're just like, we heard something that Richard did on a meetup, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's only the sacrifice folks are going to be providing liquidity. And that really started something. And, I just, I've got the time to come into the office. He and I sit on my couch just here, and we talk about what the video is going to be. And sometimes I'm driving in and I get some wild hair. I think the cool thing about how I approach it is literally anything can be a topic. And so I think my next video is going to be about the placebo effect. So when you're not in TA, you're not tied to the chart, right? So you can really talk about just about anything. And so, it's really resonated with people. I've been really excited. And the whole Pulse Promise thing, we're up over 307 people in that group so far on our way to 1,000.
Tell them what that's all about.
So the Pulse Promise, I've been in the fundraising world for the last 20 years. And I've never seen a scenario in which there's so many people who are going to come into so much abundance. And I wanted to lead out and say, I'm going to take $100 of my sacrifice. And so that's 1 million Pulse points. And I'm going to put them into a separate MetaMask account once it goes live. And then I'm going to basically challenge 999 others to do the same thing in what we call the Pulse Promise. And so once the Pulse chain goes live, the pulsepromise.com is going to have this site where you can connect your wallet, and you can say, hey, here's where they are. We won't show any names. We won't show any wallet IDs. But what we want to do is to have an amount of money that everybody's kind of earmarked. They don't give it away. They keep it on their side. But we literally show, as a community, I want to see us get up to $1 billion in potential impact resources. But what I'm really selfishly interested in is this group of people within a community connecting, because in the nonprofit space and NGO world, there's a lot of times there's problems that can be solved by people who know people. And so to have a group of people of 1,000 folks to say, hey, we've got this problem over here, can you help? It may not be monetary, it may be relationally. And so to me, the more we can team up in community to do good is incredible. And so for people to respond like that, I mean, over 300, and we're targeting February 2nd, or I'm sorry, February 22nd. So 2/22/22 is our date to have 1,000 people in that group. And that will represent, if Pulse were to get to $1 at some point in the future, that represents $1 billion of impact. And so that's what it is. Just super excited about it, but it's just a community project. There's no blockchain stuff in it. It's just people getting together saying, let's do some good.
Dude, that's awesome. I was thinking about that last night, and that's the thing that separates, like, you're going to be really successful with this because you're thinking ahead, you're planning, you're trying to help folks, you're using this as a vehicle to be able to do so, man. I got a lot of respect for you. Well, I got a little bit of respect for you, not a lot, but
I know
a little more now. A little more now.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
But dude, well damn done. And I look forward to seeing you lead the charge here, man. We're all so new at this. Pulse hasn't even launched, and just look at the community that we have now. It's freaking insane, man.
It is. And the excitement that built since this, I mean, really since your stream last night with Matty Allen, Panda, it was unbelievable. I mean, I literally felt the excitement, and it's just good to, you talked about it. It's like, well, I haven't looked at my Staker app. Well, the fact that we got this pump going, the God whale got involved, that's exciting. And then, of course, with some rumors of the potential snapshot or the live date, I think that rumor mill is really good for the excitement and is good for content development too. So any thoughts about 11/18 or 12/2 or anything like that?
Do I have to? So what are my thoughts, man? Here's what I feel like I understand about Richard Hart. I don't know the man. I have no clue who he is really. But I feel like everything's on purpose. I feel like there's a method behind his madness. I think that something special will happen if it hasn't already happened and we just don't know about it. And maybe it'll just be announced 11/18. Otherwise, December potentially, the anniversary of the Hex launch. I think that's a pretty powerful date as well. But I'm just looking forward to seeing what Hex does once it's announced.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, so I want to take I'll answer that, and then I want to also talk about the whales here in a second. But it's this is what we talked about yesterday. If something happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's kind of cool. It's fun anyway to see what it is, and that's what I've always liked about Hex ever since I got involved. Is like looking for signals, getting rid of the noise, seeing what else is going on. The game theory around crypto, but there's game theory around the community as well and what's going on. So it could come and go, and nothing happens. I mean, I don't know about how these things are done, but I've just, in my own curiosity, I've been going to the PulseChain Explorer, and I've been searching for random coins. And I don't know what it was, a few days ago, for 8 hours or something, it wouldn't allow you to search for a coin because it said it was, I can't remember the phrasing that it was used. And someone told me, oh, it's just them doing something so they can get to the V2 of the test net. But it had this snapshotty element to it. Like I can't remember what it said it was doing. But it was something like collecting the system state or something like that. And I was like, oh, and I posted a screenshot of it, and someone's like, no, it's just the test net. But we just don't know. I mean, devs know. Devs probably have a better idea of what it is. But yeah, it's super exciting. And then also just to comment on the God whale things. I mean, we have both of those whales now are involved. And what I like is 6D was the one that I think lots of people call the God whale, was the one that bought yesterday. But C5 is the one that donated 100 ETH last night to the documentary. Yeah. So when I actually think that's cooler. I think not cooler than the God whale, helping to pump the price, but is it C5, 5C, C5, whatever. That they could have just bought also and kept the pump going. But instead to send a message as a Hexagon saying, hey, I want to contribute to this documentary. I just thought I thought that was an even cooler story.
Well, yeah. What's the implication of that? That's like a loyalty type thing. That's like layers down. Like, I'm involved. I want this to succeed so I can be a multi-trillionaire, but otherwise I like these people too. Yeah. So, but I mean, that's very, very encouraging, and it should be encouraging for anybody listening. For somebody, you said 100 ETH?
100 ETH, 400.
Donating 100 ETH to the documentary. That's massive, massive, massive.
Well, and you think about strategic. I mean, that's very strategic. If you're somebody who's holding a lot, and of course you're going into this next phase with PulseChain, I mean, if you've got the resources, that's going to be something that I would say is going to make onboarding into Hex, but PulseChain Hex as well. It's going to explode. I mean, having that kind of exposure in the quality in which they're doing it. I mean, these guys got those red cameras, those digital red cameras that are like $100,000 a piece. I mean, they're doing things in, probably 8K, and it's going to, and they're doing all the stuff that you need to with original scores and doing all the things that you need to get it onto the major OTT systems or the top, like Netflix and those type of things. And I think, PulseChain's only going to make this lore of Richard Hart even more. And I think that it's strategic because it's going to only improve the value.
Definitely. Well, and the other, go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. No, please go ahead.
I was going to say, to Mike Mac's point, flip side, Godwhale won't sell, the highest of stakes will. Now, Mike, this is Hex. Hexagons were all over them. I'll check the tweets, all over them saying you need to stake that. And of course they're going to buy Hex and stake it. So they sold ETH, but they said they would stake it. Now, verify, don't trust. We don't know, but
I have a sneaking suspicion, being around Richard Hart, he might find a way to casually convince them to do the right thing.
Very true.
And remember, he has an AR-15. I saw him shooting off rounds. He's like, Hex or die.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Right,
Richard Hart doesn't even pay people that work for him in Hex. No. He's that consistent. What you got?
I just want to take a selfie with you guys. Can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Hell yeah.
Oh, this is so wrong.
Hold on. Let me see. All right. Throw up your gang signs, Matt. I know you got them.
Oh, yeah. I do. My Central Texas ones.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
I got Let's Go Clay, but it looks like Let's Go Yalk. We'll see what happens.
Yalk's the next on the list.
So we're gonna use this nice fine piece of content and post it on Twitter right now.
All right,
yeah, people in the stream.
While you're at it, if y'all can share it, smash the likes, do all the things.
All the things.
Nice.
So how many people do we have how many people are watching right now?
It says 57, so it looks like we might have some on Twitch also.
Awesome.
But yeah, 54 on YouTube. But yeah, and so you're right. Those guys hanging out. Not only would Richard Hart have an interesting way of convincing them, but the guy is, if you're around him, stuff's going to come up. You're going to hear things that he's talking about, and I'm guessing if you're hanging out with him, you're like, why on earth would I sell Hex right now? We all know not to sell Hex. Why on earth, if you're hanging out with him, would you think that that's a good idea with all the stuff that they're hearing and seeing?
Well, and they probably know when things are happening with Pulse, and you figure, that's all going to get copied over, right? I mean, you think about any Hex that they've got. So, yeah. What do you guys think about this? Obviously the system state stuff. I've been seeing stuff outside of the Hexagon community about PulseChain, and really people getting excited about, this, what's considered the largest airdrop in history. And I've been seeing stuff outside of the community of people like really excited about it. Any thoughts?
Well, it's like first, it's like you got some guy giving, life advice on YouTube, and people can either believe him or not. And a lot of people don't like him because he seems salesy. And then he creates Hex, and the entire crypto community hates him. All right. And these poor hexicans, you know what? I'll tell you this too real quick. The people who have dealt with all the BS for such a long period of time, I can't imagine how thick your skin is. And I also can't imagine how difficult it's been for you to deal with all of this. Like OG day one hexicans. I'm not a day one hexican, so I have like a lot of respect. But anyway, Hex was the pariah, right?
Oh yeah.
Now what's happening? What's the sentiment around crypto Twitter, crypto world in general? It's like the PulseChain is one of the biggest opportunities ever in crypto history because this has never been done. So like, I don't see anybody that's not on board. I don't see an interview with a crypto founder that isn't like intrigued and super stoked about what's about to happen. So I want to send that message out. And I talk to a lot of folks like, guys, it's serious on every single level. Big money, little money, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point. David, I mean, when he first launched, I was talking to my business partner who's a dev in Code Solidity. And he was like, naturally, he's like kind of doubtful. He goes, I don't see him as like this big bridge builder right now. Cause he's softened up a lot since he made that announcement. It was just shy of a couple live streams with many cuss words right after when he announced it. And then lo and behold, he does like something that shocks us all. And he's like, he doesn't have to be a bridge builder in the way that we think. He's gonna play to people's interest and double in their bags, and that includes devs. It's genius. It doesn't guarantee anything. And to Miles, Connor, to your question, what about dog coins on Pulse? I don't know if you want to know what we think about them, but Shibu, whatever that one is, that's an ERC20. It's getting a copy. It's a huge community of people, and so we're going to see even for every project that's come out and said, hey, we're on board, or is saying we're looking into it. There's a lot of them that are just maybe don't want to publicly say anything, but that are getting ready. It's going to happen.
Hey, some shout outs for Finbear, Tin Top, David Lee in the chat. Awesome to see you. Dan, of course, G as well. Just wanted to comment on those folks. Finbear, what's up?
Yeah, good to see everybody.
And go ahead though. Go ahead. I think you're up, Matt.
I was up. I'm good. I'm good.
Well, I think I was listening to RG3. Is that his name? The Captain, Capitano.
The Captain, yes, the Captain.
And I think this was right before he was taking his blood pressure medication. But what I was listening to was him talking about like, and it made complete sense. It's like, you want a nice version of Richard Hart? Well, how about you show up on the suit, sit down with him at a coffee table, and ask him about this incredible crypto that he created? All right. That's why we haven't seen a nice version. He's been nothing but fight. He's fought this entire time.
Yes,
every single way, every single type of attack that he could have taken, he took. But what are we seeing now? We are seeing a softened out Richard because the community is softening out, the crypto community towards Richard. And we're seeing that side of him that we wanted the entire time. So if I'm getting punched in the face, eventually I'm going to punch back. And you can only take so much. Now, Jesus tells me that I shouldn't do that, but I am a human. I am an imperfect sinner, and that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice of you to know that. Well, and to your point, we've seen that's what this little tour, this tour that he's doing is about. You get to see him in front of people, and you get to see him in front of people that are, that are asking questions. Not all of them, but you've seen a couple questions where people are like, you've heard people complain about in chat or whatever, because they're like, you should already know that or whatever. And he's just answering politely. Like he's just, if he meets the energy, in that specific way. And by the way, I did a video today. It's genius. You should watch it. But it is, and part of the research that I had to do it is about CoinDesk's vote for, the crypto influential for 2021.
Oh, nice.
And so I looked on CoinDesk. I searched for Richard Hart. Last mention of him, 2018, when he was promoting Bitcoin. And all they did was just mention a tweet from him. So you can imagine, like you think about, to your point, Brandon, you can think about the situation where you go from people loving you because you're saying what they want you to say, to all of a sudden some of these same people that you thought, at least on a human level, on a personal level, that would have respect, to just being like completely an outcast. And of course, you're gonna, when you're being attacked, that's just gonna be how it is. But this side of him was always going to happen. I feel like this is the way that it's going to be, and it couldn't be playing out more beautifully.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? You know, I saw Richard on the meetup as human luggage, as he called it, which I thought was a riot. And I love the way that he kind of puts his stuff on. Is like, this stuff is ridiculous. It reminds me, remember Lady Gaga? I think she was like at the Academy Awards, and she had like 4 men like walk her in, and she was inside of an egg, and she like hatched herself out of an egg at the Academy Awards or something. And of course, you look at her now, and she's normal. Well, before she got all crazy, she was like some girl that was singing in the church choir.
Yeah.
And in order for her to get the attention, she did all these crazy, extravagant things. And I think that, you know, it's like Dennis Rodman, the Bad Boys back in the day. He met Madonna, and the next thing you know, he was all pierced and tatted up. And he knew that if he was going to get the kind of attention he needed, he had to do some things that are a little outlandish. And I think that, you know, Richard's taking a page out of that book here. But it's just so cool to see this transition and to see his heart, because you're right. When there's people not shooting arrows at him, and there's a group of people in a room that you know are really interested, yeah, he's calm. He's not fighting back. He's actually really kind. And I've said this many times. I saw a kid come up to him and wanting to get he was just nervous as he could possibly be, wanting a selfie. And Richard's like, "It's okay, dude. It's okay. You're going to get the selfie."
Yeah.
And that just said so much to me, that he actually was concerned about that. And I think he's actually a lot more skilled with his persona than we even give him credit for sometimes.
Yeah, I think, you know, however he grew up, that's just hardwired into him. He's going to freaking fight back, and I'm not going to blame the man for that.
He's from Florida, dude.
How can you like the amount of value and the amount of wealth that has been generated by that brain, or because of that brain, is unfathomable. Like, what do you do, man? Like, people don't do this in lifetimes. People don't do this in 100 lifetimes to be able to do what happened here. And I don't really think people understand that. And the other thing is, like, what would you do with this amount of heat on you? How would you react? We don't freaking know, you know?
Yep.
It would not be pleasant, that's for sure. And I got a lot of respect for the man, a lot of respect for him.
Most definitely.
I don't like his skinny jeans. I don't do that, but otherwise I got a lot of respect for him.
It's nice of you to pick one thing.
Yeah.
You know, and when you know he's playing the character. So I don't know if it hopefully it will come up. YouTube tried to hide it, but I'll read it in case we're not able to show it on the screen. But let me see. Brad King said, I think it was Brad King. Hang on, I'm catching up. Oh yeah, Brad King. RH said on stream that his wrestling persona is deliberate. Yeah, when you know there's a character being played. Now, in some cases, you got to, for people that you're onboarding that start to get curious, you got to kind of tell them in advance. But I like the change, Brandon. But I got a friend. He's kept saying, well, what's up with all the watches? And I'm like, you're not paying attention, is basically what I ended up saying to him. I said, you got to get over yourself, because you're not watching enough to see. You just turn it on, you try to watch, and you can't get over the watches. And so that's kind of on you, man. If you want to learn about what's going on, I'm sitting here telling you, like, pay attention, like, watch a whole stream, listen to a whole stream. But he just was like, for whatever reason, he kind of felt like it was the things about crypto that he didn't like, was this extravagance and things like that. And so, I mean, he still has Hex, he's staked, you know, he's happy with it. But he just made the comment a couple of times. He's like, maybe he's going for a different demographic. And I was like, he's going for all demographics. It's called brand jacking. You know, he's doing it's this, and this. And even to have this guy do that, and then on Twitter multiple times go, hey, I'm doing this. You don't have to do it. I'm buying all this stupid stuff. I'm buying all this stupid stuff so you don't have to. And some people are like, okay, boss, you know, I hear you loud and clear. And others are like, yeah, but I want to, you know, I want this. I want that watch, or I want that $900 t-shirt. And they can do whatever they want. I mean, they can. No judgments.
Okay, I like the Pulse logo on the glasses. That's classy right there.
Programmable.
Yeah. Are you inside the holodeck? That's what I want to know.
Beam me
the
up,
metaverse.
Scotty. Yeah. I beat Jordy LaForge up. I gave him a black eye and stole his visor. That's
Nice.
what happened.
His banana hair clip on his
I
head.
look like I'm in the damn holodeck, don't I?
You do. You really do. You
Jeez,
look like you're in the
man.
metaverse. Kind of a Ready Player One there.
Dude, they need to holodeck me some PBR right now, dude. Some old Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, so I like your new studio there, Brandon.
Dude, it's a work in progress. Let's take a look.
Yeah, this is cool, man.
So we got it. We got the walls knocked. We got the painting done. It's still,
by the way, paid for with Davis's super chats.
Correct. 100% funded by Davis. It's horrible, actually. I hate the feeling.
Sherman Williams, thanks you.
Dude, that closet bed, that's where his mom's locked up, back there in that closet.
Oh my gosh. Well, at least you got a dedicated space now. You took over the attic, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. My friend's a YouTuber. His name is Tribal Sounds. He's one of the best musicians I've seen in my life. So me and him are just kind of shared the expense for this. And we're going to create a studio. We're going to have like 3 scenes in here, different scenes. I might live stream on the couch, coffee table, plants. I got a green screen in the back. We got 3 other rooms back here too that we can use. So I'm pretty excited to get everything up and running.
Fantastic.
Looks good. So let's check Mike Max. That Godwell account admitted their Haikanishi. I don't know what that means, but standing behind being Godwell. Recent tweet.
What's that mean, Mike? Let us know what that means.
Do you guys are you following that
Their
Twitter
fake
account?
Yeah, that one that yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm certain it's fake, but it would be nice if everyone just understood that it was fake, and then we got to see it as the joke that it is.
Yeah,
there's exactly. There's a lot of people crying for them to verify, which is fine. I can appreciate that. Mike's curious about the couch.
He's the casting couch.
Yeah, Mike already knows, man.
Yeah. He has some
okay.
other YouTubers.
Yeah. I've seen Mike. I know what Mike looks like a rusty, like late 80s, I don't know, porn actor.
Oh,
that's what he looks like. I know
right?
You, Mike. You got that chin strap, man. I went through that phase, dude. You're good, dog. And meanwhile, Mike's going to travel to wherever I am and murder me in my sleep tonight, but that's all good.
That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I see this is how you talk to your audience. So yeah, look, Mike loves it. I mean, who doesn't?
He's got that white trash gene, man, just like me. I had to try to phase out of it, but he's having a hard time, guys. Take it easy on him.
Who doesn't love taking a break out of their day, going to a live stream for an insult from you? How amazing is that?
All right.
So anyway, I hope that that Godwell keeps tweeting. I hope that it doesn't kill it because people want proof that that's actually what it is. No. You know, like maybe it'd be better if it was like Godwell's cat, you know, or something like that. So we got some fun commentary about it where people didn't want it to be the case. You know, where they.
I had a friend that created a spoof account, and he was Troy Polamalu's hair. And so he had this huge following and all the best funny stuff. And it was, you know, it had people reaching out from all these different like shampoo companies, but it was fun. I mean, we need that. We need that in the community.
How about that NFL player? The new one got onboarded today.
I saw that as well.
I think it's his 3rd year. I think he's with the Atlanta Falcons, 3rd year, but it's been a breakout year for him. And he's a 5.55-er. So that's good.
I don't think he's checkmarked even yet. He's that new.
What's his daggone name? I'm bad. I'll retweet it. Let me find out.
Yeah, search it.
Shout this dude out.
Well, we've got from our community here, we got a rookie out there on the Atlanta Falcons, Taquan Graham, who is out of Central Texas. He went to Texas. Yeah, he's really excited about seeing what he can do. But he's a new guy out there and from our neck of the woods.
Nice. Yeah, the dude's name's Christian Blake. I remembered his name. I freaking forgot. Sorry, Christian. But, dude, that's huge, man. I mean, we've got some pretty high-profile people now kind of getting in, and it's going to get viral really quick, especially when we start hitting these higher price points. People are going to FOMO in like crazy on this stuff, and it's just designed to do that, actually. that way, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Well,
Reverse.
and what about the professional soccer players? Got a new stream. I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah, Michael.
Mike.
Is it Michael Morton?
it's so
Yep.
crazy, so
Mike
great.
Morton.
Everybody needs
Yeah.
to go out and subscribe to that channel too.
And he was asking, I mean, here's what I love about Hex. That guy is obviously known. And he was asking, should I start? I'm thinking about starting a channel. But the response that he got would be the same as if any person who was in the community on Twitter would ask. Like, yes, maybe he got a couple more people because they knew who he was offering to assist if he needed it. But that's what I love is like, I think I try to say this every time I'm on a stream. Like, if you're thinking about creating content, go for it. By the way, Brandon, do not take a selfie with Renob Kids thing on screen, because then you'll actually see what this is the first time, honestly, I've ever known what the name is. But I love also how but I love how it's a longer haiku poem, period, but then it's Haikenichi. So I can't tell if they're answering a question or there's some uncertainty there.
Okay, I just got that too. And
I'm gonna name my next. I'm gonna name my next dog.
Renob Kid.
Renob,
dude. It's like that's a lull every time you get in a chat now.
Yeah,
hey,
I'll be walking my dog and they'll be like, "Hey, what's your dog's name?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, Renob." And they'll be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's like Norwegian or like what?" Yeah, what? Norwegian.
Okay, that's a super chat right there, man.
Hex River, man, thank you so much.
Good job, man. Outstanding.
That is super cool. Really appreciate it. And I always say this, Hex the Ripper literally has the best Twitter profile photos. You got a good job there. Dude,
that's a lot of dough, man. 100, dude. Thank you, man. Thank you again. Yeah, that's serious, so nice. Man. That's no joke. Thank you very much.
We are definitely hosting the next one on this channel.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
don't host it on my channel. Full blown dumpster fire in like 5 seconds. I promise.
Dude, we should switch it up though. We should.
No, we don't need to do that. Trust me.
But you know what? See, I'm like grateful now to Hex the Ripper. The thing that would be fun about doing it on your channel is that when people give us super chats, we can insult them.
Yes, dude. You could do it. No, that's the beautiful thing. You can do that to anybody, and they just like sit back and they're like, "Oh, what did I say? Did I do something wrong?" And then I'll tell the chat, I'm like, "Hey, chat, educate this guy so they don't go do something stupid. Educate him real quick."
Just stick 13K Hex, PulseChain Hex game. Yeah. Nice job, man. From your future self.
Oh, it's a candle. That's right. The stupid candles. Mike Mac. What is so daggone long?
Oh, it's a form of candle on a chart.
It's a type of candle.
Got it.
Yes.
Mike would know, of course. I like seeing Mike. By the way, keep your calls coming up, man. I appreciate those because we get the same stuff from the same folks and appreciate them. Crypto Bobcat, I see in the chat. Love that. Jenkins, everybody else, but anyone new that I see posting charts or posting calls, I love it just because it's fun. It's fun to read this stuff. Okay. I wish I knew what a Haikanashi actually did.
Is that are those bubbles on the?
Heck yeah, dude. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Oh, now we're talking. Oh,
it gets crazier.
This is nuts.
All right, wait for it.
There we go.
There we go.
Some hearts.
Yep, we got some hearts on here.
The beauty of those glasses is that we can't see how tired you are from staying up all night programming them.
It actually sucks because half of it's in freaking Chinese.
Oh, really? So, you did great.
You had to learn Mandarin just to put them on.
Yeah, well, it's like a tool inside an app. Now, the ducks. All right, let me try another one. And my favorite one is coming up.
Like a Daft Punk thing
is it the Matrix?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Matrix.
Something like that.
That is
something like that.
Legit. So, are you going to rock those on every stream now?
No, I only do it on special occasions.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, special occasions. Otherwise, I'll use the bass fishermen's. Those are actually my favorite.
That's awesome.
Largemouth, baby.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about what has happened with the Hex price action and the resulting reaction from the community. What do you guys think about this?
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, it's I built a video on the back of Panda's video as far as story was concerned, and I thought it was genius what you did with basically breaking down this idea that there's this point where everybody thinks all is lost, right? And everybody's infighting and giving up and everything, and to see Hex do exactly what Hex always does was so reassuring. And of course, I just felt this relief of everyone across the community. And then of course, the stuff with PulseChain, people are just, it's a like a collective sigh of relief. And it's just so cool to see things pump. I mean, I looked at it, it was up, I want to say it was close to 40% up. And I'm like, look at this is why we're in crypto. I mean, this is just unbelievable how things can bounce around. And, it's just a reminder once again, it's doing exactly what it was designed to do.
100%. I was, I think I've said before, you don't have to check the chart as much on pump days because you start getting messages. And I got a message the other day from he's a friend, but he's also a friend with a Bitcoin maxi, and great guy. But he was just like, what's going on? It's not even doing the normal correction things. And then he's like, I'm thanking the Bitcoin gods because he has some money in Bitcoin too. And I'm like, well, cool. He gets to win both ways. I'm not like yesterday, be like, see, I just told him I'm not worried. I've never been concerned about Hex. It's like you sound stupid saying we just wait, because that's exactly what you do in crypto anyway. Hex just helps you wait by making it really painful to end stake when you set that date in the future.
Yeah, when what's interesting to me is, you look right now at existing financial instruments and they're kind of categorized, right? You've got mortgages, you've got securities, you've got bond market, and then of course you've got CDs. And what's interesting is because everything right now is so early and everybody looks at everything the same way. It's like everything is a token or a coin, and people are just understanding it. I think in the future what we're going to find is there's going to be, just like in DeFi, there's going to be these different categories of different instruments that you can leverage for different reasons. And right now, everything is kind of on the same playing field, and they're being compared to really apples and oranges, right? It's kind of like, these crap coins like Sheeb and then Hex. It's just not a comparison. They're different things. And I think in the future, we're going to see these things almost get into their own categories, and you're going to leverage them for their purposes.
Cot G, what's up, my man?
Cot G,
good to see you. Cot G's a little, he's a celebrity around here too, man. He's on all these streams, just talking trash to everybody.
He wants to get roasted by you. Yeah, you need to roast him.
I got something special for Cot G at the end. Don't worry.
Okay.
So here's what I like in my mind in terms of Hex. You know what I do? I don't look at the price chart. I don't look at the T-share chart. I look at the increase in stakers. All right. When I'm going to get scared is when we have a 60% fall off of stakers. That would frighten me. Okay. But guess what, guys? It hasn't happened. It's not happening, guys. It's going up. It's going up every day during dips, up, 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 up.
Yep.
And eventually, it's kind of like those people who are staking is kind of like soda in a bottle. Those stakers, that's shaking the bottle. Eventually, the top's going to pop off and price action explodes. The sellers just can't keep us down forever when we have more and more people staking. That's the foundation. That's the cornerstone. That's the only thing that matters when I'm trying to take a look at Hex, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And it's a game that the selling game is set up to lose from the outset, because there's only a certain amount of Hex that you can have to sell. And there's more people that are coming in with fiat and other coins. I mean, we saw, just because of gas fees, we saw like a little bit in terms of the average daily increase. It was just due to gas fees. I mean, I saw it personally. I had friends that were sitting around waiting. I had a friend who, I think I told the story. She didn't have that much money to start in. She just wanted to start with like $250. And I'm like, are you sure you know, and she's like, I'll wait, just tell me when it's the cheapest. And she messaged me like 11:39. She's like, I got in, gas was $111. And I'm like, $111 out of a $250 investment. But she didn't care because she's been waiting for months to be able to get in. And I'm like, that's the kind of energy that you want in this thing. Also, consider the fact that over the past month and a half, 2 months, as things have been going sideways, and to your point, Brandon, all these new numbers have been coming in. Everyone's feeling this pump now. People that were new, that were maybe doubting a little bit, are like, oh, the thing that this person told me, or the thing that I kept hearing these people say, it's becoming real. Now we've got some work to do. We're 27.11, 27 cents. But this is good. This is a good direction to be going.
There's gonna be people who watch this stream maybe for the first time, or they're kind of new. And this is the message that we have to give to people. If you look back at the videos and you really do your research, and you listen to the people who developed this project, you listen to the back and forth that happened between Richard and the people who developed, this was quite literally designed to stake and to hold and not to trade at all. That's not what this is for. And it's for reasons like this. If you had bought at 50 cents and you had staked and it dropped 50 or 60%, guess what? You didn't even have to dollar cost average, because you're getting those coins every single day. The contract dollar cost average is for you. All right. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to time anything. You're in there. Now, there's a multiplier effect. Buying Hex is cool. Buying and holding. Buying Hex and staking is cool. Buying Hex, staking, getting that interest is awesome. If you buy Hex, you stake, you get the interest, and you actually dollar cost average out of every paycheck, or whatever the case may be in your situation, that is that multiplier, if you could chart that out over the next 10 years, will be absolutely parabolic, faster than anything that you've ever seen in your life. So one thing I push out, guys, do not trade this. Hold it. Hold it, hold it. If there's anything that you look at, any indicator about Hex, just look at the amount of stakers that are going up every single day, because you can't hold that back. You cannot.
That's awesome.
Such a great point.
Bob Cooper is in the chat there. Says, new to Hex, put 10,000 in Hex at 17 because I saw a great trade opportunity. But the more I researched and watch these videos, the more I plan to stick around. Going to stake soon. That's awesome. And that's exactly what you just said, Brandon.
Yeah.
And so let's add a couple more folks real quick. Hex Roman, SF, good to see you. HP Morgan, good to see you. We already said hi to Children of the Grave. All Hex working 67 miles ahead. Lord Hexalot, good to see you, man. Bob Cooper, Esteban, and Red Squirrel, Hex Turbo, the Hex King contractor. I think we're caught up.
Hey Panda, let's do you mind, we were talking about gas fees there. Do you mind bringing up that slide that I gave you?
Yeah, you guys talk about something else. Let me pull it. I got to make sure that that it doesn't dox anything for me before I pull it up. I thought it was going to be on the internet. But...
I'll do an intro on it then. Okay.
Okay, sure.
So I've got just an awesome guy. His name is Jim Renfro, and he and I have been chatting, and just a super guy. And he was talking to me about cost savings, and we're really drilling down on this cost of Ethereum gas fees. And he made a really good point and did some math. And I asked him if I could share it on this stream. He was just doing a little analysis of the daily transaction volume and the average ETH, kind of the average cost to do a transaction. And so he just put together some math on this. I put it into a slide that hopefully we'll share. But what he was showing was you have to realize that there's this dramatic cost savings that happens. And check out this slide. It's unbelievable. So he basically said the average gas fee was $183, and there was 1.4 million transactions. And obviously there's a variety of things that happen with gas fees going up and down. But if you take that daily transaction volume times those gas fees, PulseChain's cost savings annually is $93.5 billion of savings. Now, there's debates on that, but it's in the billions. And I don't think people realize what kind of cost savings the PulseChain is going to have. And this is stuff that's just going to fees. And you think about that much more value annually.
Dude, that's huge. And what he didn't talk about in this equation here is also the potential future value of all those gas fees. So this number is actually probably a 10x or 100 or 1,000x smaller.
Yeah, that's what that fees.wtf. That's why it incites rage in people, is because they see ETH fees that they spent 3 years ago, which when Ethereum was at even at lower prices, and like I spent that on gas rather than just having it in my wallet, and now now it's a car or whatever.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I appreciate you sharing that. But Jim, thank you for putting that out there. I think it is really big to a lot of people don't think in terms of the cost savings, but that's real utility and real value that just by doing the fork of Ethereum over to PulseChain is huge, and that's not to mention all the uniqueness of the system state.
And numbers like that, in any type of sales situation, you got to get to the numbers, and those numbers are eye-popping and eye-opening, and that's what will sell this network, and that's what already is selling this network, and it's not out yet. Huge.
Yeah.
It's massive. And in fact, over the past month and a half, checking out other stuff that's just going on in general crypto, and seeing there's good chains. There's things that are fast and cheap, but all of them had to start from scratch. They all had to start from zero, and some of them have had growing communities around them, but nothing like what we have now, and nothing like what we're going to have when tens of thousands of other communities are dropped on PulseChain. Some of them suffering, some of them are hurting. There's projects that are just crippled because people can't do anything. It must be the most frustrating thing ever to be a dev. And yet maybe some of them have. It's like you wonder, are there blind spots from people, from devs or founders of other projects, where like they see that things aren't benefit, there's not a benefit, but maybe they have a lot of Ethereum, so they kind of it's this with like, yeah, it stinks, but I'm also doing really well because Ethereum's pumping. But if they're being real about it, then they're listening to their communities, and it's like, this is not good.
Mohammed Aman says if Pulse does 100x, for example, most of those gains will flow back into hex. Most of the sacrifice set are hexagons. Isn't that what many would do? I think it's really interesting is when you've got a new chain, this is a dynamic that we've never seen before, is that this community's been built around an ERC20 on Ethereum. And here's Richard doing the Pulse chain. That whole community of people understand the hex contract. And I think you're right. I think a lot of people realize, where can you get this kind of APY anywhere? And I think that it continues to feed on itself. So I think a lot of the gains that would come, whenever people do decide to sell, I mean, this idea that, may never ever sell, that you just put things into hex and stake them, whether it be, I mean, I would think on the P hex side or the hex side on PulseChain.
Yeah, gains flowing back into hex makes perfect sense to me. I mean, I'm excited for PulseChain. I am. I'm a huge hex fan. Huge hex fan.
What do we think? Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, I was done.
What do you guys think? Let's give our audience some dopamine here. Maddie, what do you think? What do you think we do in 2 years? What do you think our ROI is going to be on PulseChain?
All right, so
X's.
I'm going with what? So I did an interview with Balliet Brand, and it's so cool. He just turned 25. He's such a fresh guy. It's just so great to talk to. So, upbeat. And he was just telling me the story about coming into day one hex. And he just matter of fact said, when your $100 turns into $1 million or your 1,000 turns into 10 million. And I literally just stopped in my tracks. That's what a 10,000x is from the sacrifice day one. And, it's not like, if you think about $100 turning into $1 million, or you think about $1,000 turning into 10 million, you're like, I just can't even fathom those kind of returns. It's just not normal to somebody that's been involved in a traditional finance market. But he was just like, well, yeah, this is what things do. And, I think a lot of people out there that were in the sacrifice set, or even looking at getting in at the beginning, I look back to Ethereum. I'm like, I remember the Ethereum days, the early days. And, there are people who say, well, oh, I didn't get in on the sacrifice. And when I think of the upside, this is what Bally Brand said. I said, do you really think there's going to be a 10,000x from day one sacrifice of Pulse? He said, yes. And I think it'll happen faster than Hex did it. Well, Hex did it in what? I mean, the 10,000x was what, in 18 months or something like that? So, with all of this other excitement and all the other projects and everything, I'm still 2 years, 10,000x from day one sacrifice. That's where I'm at. $1 Pulse.
What you got, old Panda?
In 2 years? Man, I wasn't thinking about it. I was too busy. I'm watching my Aurochs indicator, waiting for a green so I can call a pump on Hex.
That's what he thinks about you, Matt. Look at him.
No, I already
I
watch all
Grandpa's
Matt's
talking
videos.
again.
I watch Matt's videos.
Dude, I'm not that old, man.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, I honestly, I think it'll be more than $1.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
In 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
Because the thing is that, and here, this is another interesting topic of conversation. So, don't you love that the same group of us that say that market cap doesn't matter, or we're getting mad that we got demoted in market cap size?
Yeah.
But anyway, this Hex is different than PulseChain, but some of the same. Richard Hart is smart, and so his team is smart. So they're going to use the things that work and improve on them in the other ways that they can. That's why the OA sacrificed for Pulse.
Yeah.
So the market cap that everyone's doing math on, and I see it in comments on my videos, and it's actually relatively easy to point out people that are either new or aren't it. They'll say that normal thing like, that's impossible. That would make it the market cap of 3 planets or whatever. But if you know what's going on with Hex, and that some of those same design gens will apply to Pulse, and that it's deflationary, and then it's a chain, so it's highly speculative. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling that we could go higher than $1 in 2 years.
Funding Jim.
Oh yeah, Funding Jim. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
nice.
Wow. Funding Jim in the house.
Do you have Funding Jim's Telegram?
We don't care about Funding Jim's $50 because Davis gave us $5, so you don't worry about that.
Here, Funding Jim, let me get you.
I love Funding. Hey, so I think that this is gonna the price appreciation of Pulse is gonna have a whole lot to do with how these market cycles, or if you want to call it a market cycle, how it's going to line up with that, right? If we think that, for example, Bitcoin or Ethereum, if we think that they're going to keep pumping for another 6 months or 8 months, we have a prolonged cycle, and then it drops off. The next time that we're going to see those large run-ups will probably be about 3 years to 3.5 years from whenever we're going to launch. So let's just say, just for numbers, say January 1st of 2022, I think that in 2 years, I think that we could pretty easily see a 500 to 1,000x. And beyond that, you got to understand that these X's happen in very short periods of time, huge pumps in the period of 6 or 8 months. So I think sometime far, maybe about 3 years out, 3.5, 4 years, I think that's when we will see some monumental things happen or begin happening. That's where we can blow past the 10,000 X's. We could go to we could go higher. And that's because you got to think about the total crypto market cap at that time might be 10x higher then. There might be a whole lot more money flowing, a lot more companies utilizing the blockchain.
Yep.
So I'm stoked for the next 2 years. Maybe 500 to 1,000, but certainly 3 to 5 years out, just like Ethereum, 4 to 6 years out for Ethereum, they did 14,000x. I think we'll see something similar with Pulse. Hopefully a lot higher, actually. I could see us going higher than 10,000x in that time period, way out.
Wow.
Funding Jim, check your Twitter DMs. I sent it to you there because I was having trouble finding you quickly.
Somebody asked in the chat about when Ethereum 2.0 comes out, and so I want to speak to that, but also this number of growth rate. So I was listening to basically just a general blockchain conversation. It was on a podcast, and they said that the growth rate's 113% year over year with kind of blockchain volume. It started out 2 years ago, was it 4 trillion? In 2 years, it was 60 trillion, and the assumption is that it's going to be 200 trillion in 2 years. And you think about that as the size of the bond market today. And as a mega asset class, which is all blockchain stuff, I mean, this is a rising tide. And I think you're right, is that, we're getting in front of ETH 2.0. And, people are saying, well, what happens when ETH 2.0 is on proof of stake? Well, if we beat them to the punch, at the end of the day, you think about competitors coming into a market. When they come into a market, they take market share, right? And so, if you've got something that's working, you find something that, it's like one of these zombie projects or NFTs or something like that, and you get onto the PulseChain, lower fees, it's promising all of the things that Ethereum 2.0 was going to. Well, Ethereum 2.0 comes out and you don't need it. And I think that that's where the first mover advantage of this is really extreme, is that system state brings a lot of attention, and people might just say, listen, I can't survive. My people aren't participating in this network because of gas fees. I'm gonna lean into the Pulse chain, and Pulse chain's going to take the market share. And finally, when ETH gets together, they're not going to jump back. There's no reason to. And so to me, this is an opportunity for just grabbing a ton of market share in that window between when Pulse Chain and ETH 2.0 launches.
That's such a great point. Yeah, they're not coming back.
No,
they're not.
No.
Molly, man, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, Molly.
I was waiting for him to shut up because I didn't want to be disrespectful. But God bless America, dude.
Oh my God. Brandon, why didn't you host this?
What?
Why didn't you?
I've sold a bunch of hats for Motley. Here, let me bring Funding Jim in here.
Jeez.
Oh my God. How fortunate are we?
What's up, guys? Yeah, I got kudos to Motley for supporting some of the best streamers. You guys are amazing. The OG that started a long time ago, the content that you guys have at your fingertips is just awesome, and the perspective is awesome. Really like all three of you guys as streamers.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So how was you went to Robert's house, right?
Yeah.
Did he have regular toilets, or did he have those European toilets?
Yeah, can you tell us? You probably told the story a couple times, but can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
I saw the pictures, but I haven't heard much.
Yeah, I just put a Twitter thing. It's like a minute-long video of the racing stuff that we did, things like that. But basically, I've been friends with George Gammon for a couple of years. I think I was like maybe number 300 on his channel on YouTube. And just the influence and impact that you can have as an observer in the audience that later learns enough to be on the same level with some of these people in YouTube. It is amazing. It's an amazing communication tool. We give shit over Twitter fights and YouTube fights and blocks and things like that, like all those things. But the alliances that you can build through people of like mind is phenomenal. So when Hex was going through its AA was about the same time that George was converting to being active on YouTube. And his relationships with other people in legacy space, finance, real estate, related things, shorting the dollar, macroeconomics, that's his content. That's most of his content. And I found parallel in his life in some ways because he was an Act 2022 guy. He had moved to Puerto Rico also for tax reason. He based himself in Medellin. He had a television channel in Colombia as a gringo, running HGTV kind of remodeling content. So he had a lot of contacts that way. And some of our associations bled over. So we were friendly, at least on YouTube and stuff. And then I decided to go to, AA went amazing. Hex launched amazing. It still, I think, is a bubble of communication. It is people that have some curiosity about crypto, like Heartbeat, seeing a late night stream or something of a commercial and it brings him in. Krypto Panda, how you guys started, Rex to Rich's guy. We all have our entry door, and then we're kind of in crypto and learning more, and this is speculative stickiness. And so I think that the bigger picture of legacy finance, real estate related stuff, things like that, that's my wheelhouse. And I like hybridizing. I like bringing people into both worlds. So George was doing this Rebel Capitalist Live event in Miami. I invited Crypto Coffee to go with me. We both went. I made these cards that people may have seen that has QR on it, and they're RFID built into them, and they're really helpful for people spreading their own brand, whatever the brand is, not just an advertisement or sticker. And I made specialized cards with a $5,000 printer that I'd bought that does this really interesting kind of tech. And I made them all custom, specific to the speakers of the event. So I made some for Robert Kiyosaki and his Rich Dad Poor Dad content and brand. All of the links inside of his card go to all of his podcasts and YouTube and Twitter and things like that. Same thing with George, same thing with Jason, same thing with Robert Breedlove, people that are kind of in the Bitcoin maxi world that were speakers. So I did it for all those people just as a custom giveaway. No branding, no Hex stuff, no Gary stuff. It was just a complete giveaway of time and money to do that. And then they liked it. They really liked that they were able to quickly distribute their own brand and stuff like that with their touchless contact card, right? So I did that stuff. Kurkowski helped me with some of that too. But that was in May. And then me and Crypto Coffee talked to the panelists and stuff. It was kind of an end as far as that conversation. I learned about, I met Robert several times there that time. I talked to him about Hex, and it wasn't in depth. It was probably like 15 minutes. But over the past, last week, I spent 4 days. And if you saw dollar cost having conversation and Robert Kiyosaki saying, Hex, is it better than Bitcoin? I know a lot of us threw our hands up over that.
Cameraman, he came in there.
Yeah, it was really, really good. But it was familiarity. He'd heard that before. That was brand reaffirming for him because I'd talked to him, a month or 2 months earlier than that. And what I'll say is, just like a lot of things you vet through your friends, there's a lot of people that came into Hex or PulseChain because they heard from a brother-in-law, they heard from a friend at work, they heard from someone that was known to them versus a commercial. Like, kudos to CryptoHeartBeat for doing research and finding it, through an advertisement. But a lot of us learn about this stuff from a familiar face, a friend, right? I came into crypto because of a familiar friend in 17. Same thing. And that's the way that Robert and these other guys deal. They're already very successful. They don't need to multiply their money. They're billionaires. They're wealthy people. And yet they will invest because their friend knows something. They feel like they're sounded, that kind of stuff. So the message that you guys put out, it is that warm, familiar voice. I know Rags to Riches has his brand, the calm, collected, reasoned brand of both Panda and Heartbeat. That resonates. That resonates with a certain demographic. That resonates with a certain level of investing thesis kind of people. So you're doing really great work. I appreciate everything that you guys have done because it speaks to the same audience I'm speaking to. I speak personally, but I can reference your content, and it's really useful.
Awesome, man. Thank you. And we've enjoyed kind of the three of us getting to know each other, and we're sort of all coming up, and so it's been good. Our main, I think the main thing, I don't want to speak for these guys, but the reason I like talking to them and interacting with them is it's just about keeping it positive, and how can we give back? And Gary, I've told you this before. We were on a stream with Whales. I don't know, it feels like 7 years ago, but it was like 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. And I always give you props because I heard you talk about, I had this guilt of running the business and then being excited about Hex and even streaming or making videos. And then I heard you mention, like, I'm generating revenue from these businesses for this purpose, because you look at it, it becomes impossible almost to love the business that you've started as much as Hex when you see, like, money in versus money out nothing compares to it. You know, it's spend money on this particular thing for your business, or spend it on Hex and watch these money printers go 24/7. I don't have to make sure anyone's excited about their job. I don't have to convince anyone of anything. And so listening to you say that gave me permission to just actually keep loving my business and keep growing it while we're sitting here doing that. And I'm super appreciative of that. And by the way, all my employees don't know it, but they're appreciative of it as well, because we can just keep kicking ass at work. And the money's going to good places. So I really appreciate that.
Well, the message that, again, I like Crypto Heartbeat most recently. I've been watching every single stream and all that stuff. It's really amazing, because I have to speak to the character of men for a few minutes. And that is, I don't have kids. I like startup culture because it is 25 to 35-year-old people that want to change the world. They might be trying to do it through an app. They might be trying to do it through their website. They might be doing it through charity, right? So some kind of call of purpose, some sense of purpose that hits men, I think, especially when we're in our mid 30s and late 30s, 40s. I'm 51, right? So that sense of giving back. Now, it's one thing to find something that you speculate in that's done really well. It's another thing to bring in someone so that they can have gains too, right? Family, friends, people that you associate with. But to put your public face out there is a big ask for a lot of people psychologically. And you really only do that when you have that sense of purpose, I think. I think that Robert Kiyosaki's been phenomenally successful financially, but he's also empowered millions of people. If I talk to someone that only speaks Russian, they know him. If I speak to someone that only speaks Spanish, they don't speak English, they know him. And it is because he's given more content and more knowledge base and kind of refined these principles of Napoleon Hill, or money education, things like that kinds of stuff, right? So he's really just repackaging content that's out there already in a way that's relatable. And I think you guys, again, are doing those great things in the same way with your alignment. It's not that you're only talking your bag. I'm sure a lot of you have sacrificed into PulseChain. I'm sure a lot of you have been in Hex for quite some time. I'm sure that there's friends around you that are tired of hearing about it, and you stop talking about it because you're like, I tried 6 months ago. And then they come back pissed off that the gains are still going up, that things are still performing the way they have been, and they're upset that you didn't try harder. I have so many friends that have
You didn't try harder.
Yeah, I have friends that have bitched at me. They bitched at me. This is, you should have tried harder. If you really loved me, you would have tried harder.
It's the truth.
I'm like, it's human nature, right? So I'm not saying that you need to be a pest, but I just, every so often, that little sprinkle of, every 6 weeks or every 2 months, just to follow up. And you can do it passively through Twitter, because people watch that stuff, even if you're not directly talking to them, they're watching. So I would just say, speak to your sense of altruism, your sense of, it's fine to do well and to do good, and to do that financially too. It's not evil to make money, and it's not evil to empower other people to make money, as long as the incentives are all aligned. And I think that Richard's products have aligned a lot of incentives that were really broken and at odds end in crypto in the past. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's really refreshing, and I think that there's a lot of people out there that are looking to make content. And I've often said to them, I mean, you look at the four of us, the different approaches that we take. Everybody, you'll find an audience if you create content, because people see themselves in you, and obviously bringing value as much as you can obviously makes sense. But I appreciate you paving the way for us. And I had a specific question for you on the real estate side, and I wanted to get your opinion while we have you, if that's okay.
Sure.
So one of the things that, the NFT market right now is all about, art, and, we see some things in music and those type of things. But one of the things I think is pretty exciting is this idea of fractional real estate ownership in mega assets in NFTs. Are you seeing any of that stuff happening? I've been hearing about it, but I can't afford $100 million building in Manhattan, but fractional ownership and participating in those kind of properties. Are you seeing anything there?
I see the potential for hybridation really, when it comes down to smart contracts in the digital world, you can have things that automatically trade. You can have DEXs. You can stay anonymized, and you can be a property owner because you have some digital token. You're trading with someone else for a different digital token. The world of real estate comes down to something different. So now you have you have a few bricks in $100 million building, and it catches on fire and people die. Who's accountable?
Yeah.
Who is financially responsible? Who paid the insurance premium? Oh, nobody? Okay, you're screwed. So some of the stuff that is a grand idea that I remember from 17, tokenizing. I remember there was an art, they had some provenance, they had some art history and things like that. And they were tokenizing the Sistine Chapel rooftop ceiling, the mural of the Last Supper. They're tokenizing it so you can have a token that represents a percentage of the painting that's a mural that you can't cut out of a church wall. Some of that stuff is just, like Richard says, it's an excuse for you to buy. It's just an excuse, a meme. And so some of it, I don't really want to poo-poo. I do want to say when it comes down to real estate related stuff and fractional ownership of things that have revenue sources, tenants, human beings, liability, things like that, I still would say I would rather people be owners in an LLC, a C corporation. You can have a REIT, you can share ownership, you can have benefit, you can take a loan against it. People hate banks, but I love banks because banks help me in a lot of ways. And I think I can hybridize some of those people that are resistant to crypto, like, all the people I'm talking with, George Gammon and Jason Hartman and Ken McElroy. Ken McElroy controls 11,000 apartments. I don't know a lot of people that have 11,000 apartments in their portfolio. And these are the people that build syndicate deals. These are the people who can get a $300 or $400 million loan for a property. And so I would like hybridizing, and I would rather have, make your gains, still play and speculate in the digital realm, still do the things that a network of PulseChain can do. Potential of PulseChain is you don't know what it can do until it's here, right? And when it's here, then you'll see things played out. And I think very positively about that digital realm. But I also think that the real world has real needs and real services and products and goods. And all of your things about whether it's money in a dollar bill, whether it's gold in a coin, whether it's crypto in a token, what it really comes down to is services and goods. What services and goods are you trading for? Right?
Yep. So, I appreciate that.
Rags, do you have a Let's Go Gary function on those glasses? Fire it up.
He's going to have to pay me $500 for that.
Hey, by the way, if you guys do activate these services, I'm already a supporter for the Patreon of Rags.
Dude, he's awesome.
Nice.
You can turn it to altruistic person. You can give it away. You can, pay for your trip to go to one of these big events that we're doing. I think that everybody that watches this content and watches these people that put themselves in the public realm should support those guys. You should.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
When you're talking to these folks, the high tier folks or the guys right underneath them, what's the biggest objection or what's the biggest problem that you see that we have to overcome in order to get those folks really on board?
Well, Robert's in his 70s. He's not going to buy into something unless someone that he knows closely already is in that thing. He was very, very happy over his amazing, fortunate timing that he got in so early into Bitcoin because he bought it at $6,000. And I can't throw it into his face and say, well, there's people that mined it for a penny. And some of those are my friends. There's people that, made the top of $2 or whatever it was that Richard went from 50 cents to $2 or whatever it was. So, and some of these things you can't gloat, you can't relate it to someone that is unknown to his circle. And it comes down to his friend had told him, hey, it used to be 10,000 and now it's 6,000. And Robert wants to buy the deal. So he buys the deal because his friends say so, right? He's a savvy guy. Same thing with a lot of these other people. Jason, I had a great conversation with, and he's an affable guy. He's going to come on stream. These guys are going to come on stream. I will get Robert on stream talking about Hex. They've already said so, or they have all the contact stuff, things like that. But it's a warming idea for them because I'm relatively new inside their circle. and their circle has to have proof. And some of the proof is some of my other peers I'm closer with that are already billionaires that I invited to these events. So I had other people there that came from Puerto Rico that are in the legacy world worth billions, that brought their own Ferrari. They already had houses in Scottsdale. They associate and have a jet just like Robert. So that familiar thing about proof of what you've accomplished, there's factions inside of Hex that represent that. And I think
So did you say that he heard about it from one of his other friends? That's why he gave you the time of day?
Bitcoin. I was saying that he heard about Bitcoin and one of his friends that's close and wealthy. Same thing, Michael Waltrip. I have video, I have content. I just haven't released it. I may or may not release it. Of Waltrip. He won Daytona 500. At the same race that Dale Earnhardt died. He had the highest of highs because he won the race, but he had the lowest of lows because his friend was killed.
Right.
In the same day. And Sony has picked up that documentary and they're going to distribute it soon. So he's got some celebrity to him. And at the beginning of like our racing thing, my friends had said, oh, so-and-so, here are real estate guys and some crypto guys. And then that triggered him on stage in front of everybody to say, yeah, crypto, that's an interesting thing. And, you know, my friends talk about crypto and I have a conversation. I feel dumber at the end of it, right? But he was saying it in a positive, funny way, right? And then at the signing thing, I'm talking with him and I said, hey, I'm one of those crypto guys you talk about. And he says, yeah, I'm fascinated with it. I've only been in it about a month and a half. I put in about 10 grand a week. And it's exciting. It's more exciting than a lot of things I've done in the past 20 years. And that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So I talk about Hex, I talk about PulseChain and these sort of things. And I think I can get him on stream. Same sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So be nice. Even if it seems very easy and tempting on Twitter to flame and burn people because they say something that is talking out of their ass or it's ignorance or whatever, be nice because you can always resuscitate that later. But if you burn and you hurt people's feelings, they're going to talk shit and they're going to block you. I believe that you still can hold your integrity. You can hold your own. You're still a man, even in Twitter world, if you understand the long game, you know?
Gary, would you say you're working now more than before Hex or the same?
I came out of retirement. I was retired already in 2015, 16, somewhere in there. So I came back out because of crypto in 17. And then that was interesting because those my startup friends and things like that. They were like, hey, this is exciting. This is a new world of tech, such and such. I went to some stuff in 17. I invested 100 grand. It went quickly to $1 million. I sold on January 6th of 2018. So it was a new tax year, just to make sure it was a new tax year. And still I was going to, in 2019, have to pay $450,000 in taxes because of short-term gain. And I was a Californian at the time. And my friends had told me, hey, this Puerto Rico thing, if you do the Puerto Rico Act 2022, the first windfall year, you can at least reduce it down to 40 grand instead of 450,000. So I moved. I said, okay, I'll do that. I'll move. I'll save the money. And then I took that money and I promptly put it back into the exact same crypto that had spiked up, thinking that I was a smart guy. I saved on my crypto and I saved my tax and I got the benefit and moved my life. And then that crypto promptly went down to almost zero. Went shit, horrible. And I thought that I was validating it because it was a US-based company. I thought that I was validating because it was people that were known inside of the industry I knew 20 years in the past. But they still screwed up, seriously. So I was burnt like a lot of people in 17, 18 over like promises that someone's going to come along and buy your bags because you just got it first. And I licked my wounds for a bit. And then my really good friend is Crypto Beatles, Rob Beatles. If you look him up on YouTube, he's had a ton of content. He's the founder of Monarch. Him and my other friends, 3 guys. One of my friends, so when I moved to Puerto Rico, 2 of my friends came to Puerto Rico as well to check it out to see if it was worthwhile. One was Snabot, one was Sam Capizzi. Those guys had a really good idea. They had a crypto channel of maybe about 30,000 followers. It was during the bull, so there's a lot of euphoria, and I befriended him. Really great guys. I found him through YouTube originally, and then invited him to Puerto Rico, and we went. And that was a great eye opener. Sadly, they did make the pitch to Rob that became the third crypto guy, the third supporter. He's worth maybe $100 million or something like that, not from crypto, but from other businesses. And so he became their sponsor to get the Monarch idea off the ground. And I run a charity. I have a charity for suicide prevention, partly because of my military experience. A lot of my friends have had PTSD. I've been in the medical world all my life. I've had my own, I've talked about it on Joe Hexotic's channel. I've had my own suicidal moments in my life. And sadly, my friend Sam Capizzi committed suicide not too long after the Puerto Rico visit. And it was really hurtful. And so I reached out to Rob. I built a closer friendship with Rob. And then I was saying how pissed off I was about this thing that's going on separate, this other finance related thing, and this other crypto, and how pissed off I was. And I'm done with crypto. I'm never going to do shit with crypto again because I can't see people's faces. Too many people are anonymous. Too many people are bullshitters and scammers. And I just like that relatability of face to face. And Rob said, you should pay attention to Richard Hart. You should look up that guy on YouTube. That's where I learned about Richard Hart, was because Rob told me to. So a familiar face in a familiar moment that was consoling but helpful and educating for me, and it pointed me toward Richard. And then I started watching some of his old content, his advising content, wearing the top hat stuff, things like that, how to make a better apology. So you want to get rich, learn, to buy your own freedom first, all those kinds of things. Really amazing content. This guy, Richard's content that he put out there with no financial objective, long before ever doing anything publicly as far as crypto, is amazing. And it resonated with me, and I started paying attention to him, and I started paying attention to the CFD token stuff, and then I once the Bitcoin Hex Telegram channel started, I think I was like 500 somewhere in there in the room, something like that. And I started affiliating with the Crypto Coffees and the Hexologist. I remember telling Hexologist that he should make a stream telling people how to make thumbnails, because he was making clunky, funny meme thumbnails. And that was kind of the origin of this stuff, was the good idea of crypto in 2017 led me to euphoria. The reality of who's out there made me pissed off about crypto. Then the community collated around the idea and the principles that Richard was putting out. And that's where we're at with Hex, and that's where we're at with PulseChain. And it's just I could tell you, if I lost everything and I had nothing, I had no money whatsoever, no crypto whatsoever, the things that I've learned in the past 2 years, I could get it all right back. Absolutely. And it's because of the community. It's because of the learning, the curve, absorbing the knowledge. Absolutely. Very useful.
That's awesome. Yeah. Every week's a masterclass, I feel like, in this community. It's awesome. I want to show this again, because I think your story resonates with a lot of people. 2017 was rough. Still have nightmares of that blow off top. I mean, my story is that I got wrecked and didn't even want to talk about crypto for 2 years. I wouldn't. Like, people would ask, and I'm just like, I might go buy Bitcoin. Literally, I just say go buy Bitcoin. I don't want to talk about it. And then the friend of mine who told me about it had to tell me about Hex 3 times. He wasn't trying to convince me. He was gentle about it because he knew the situation from before. And I made different deals with myself this time around. I was like, I wasn't a degen back then, but I didn't take profits. I thought I was going to keep going forever. Just all the normal stuff. But also you get a little more mature, you start realizing, really what life is all about. And we were talking about this before we started the stream. Like, I don't want any of the fancy stuff. I don't care. It's like, it's cool, I guess. If you want it, go ahead, get it. I have no problem with that. But being able to come into Hex with a healthier attitude and choose it because it aligned with this healthier way of looking at crypto, it just couldn't have been more perfect. It couldn't have been more perfect. And it just keeps, the learning is a bonus. The learning from other people, other Hexicans in the community, has just been this bonus that I had no idea that I would get. And that's really the reason that I keep streaming, that I keep making videos, just out of gratitude, continuing to share my perspective on it. And hopefully it helps either new people or it helps people that are onboarding other folks. And I'm just going to try to keep doing it.
You learn skill sets, you learn brotherhood, but you learn. I mean, this is amazing. I've gone to a lot of college, a lot of school, both military, that's like, see it once, do it once, teach it kind of classes, to academia and clinical research trials and all the stuff that's very highbrow. And this has been the best education. This past 2 years has been, of being affiliated with Hex, has been, bar none, the best education I've gotten. I'm sorry I cut you off there, Rex.
Oh, no, you didn't cut me off. I would just want to shout out Balliot Brand.
Yeah.
He's on every freaking stream, putting in the work, supporting everybody. So thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Sorry, I was going to say, go to his channel, go to the new channel, the Sci-Vive one, and subscribe to that. Go ahead, Gary.
Sensei Dozy wanted to know real quick, too, how tall Richard Hart is.
He's taller than people think. Again, he was wearing these Prada boots a lot of the time I was around him that were lifted. I felt like I was beside a Spice Girl, but he's a big guy. He's a taller guy. Yeah. And he invited me privately for 3 hours, so like afterwards we had dinner and stuff like that. And again, very relatable. This guy has a sensitive side, but he's also, he's a fierce lion if you provoke him, right? And it is that he doesn't like, I think his upbringing and things like that in Miami was tough. I think he had a really tough time. I think he was, lower class. I wouldn't say lower class. I don't want to say that. His father was a air conditioning mechanic or whatever, repairing air conditioning and systems. And I think he had a hard Miami lifestyle, and yet he was super intelligent. And I think that a lot of the barbs that people don't like about the origin story of Richard, as far as the public world, they don't like some of the language and things like that. That was normalized. That was his normalized, even though he's a super intelligent guy. And he has one of the most compassionate hearts that I've ever come across. He is really, to put yourself out there, to take the slings and arrows and beatings in the public sphere on behalf of 50,000 people, 100,000 people. I don't know how many people are in the Hex crypto stuff. 300,000 wallet holders, but we know it's like 80 or 70,000 stakers. That's the people I care about mostly, is the stakers. But yeah, his heart, pun intended, is amazing. He's really a nice guy, but he's not going to reveal that to everybody. He's not going to open that side to everybody.
No, it's where he came from, right? He knows what it's like. If he was low, and I think we've all speculated that's pretty much what his background was. And that's based on how he reacts to people. It's an environmental thing. But yeah, like, he knows what it's like, man. He knows what it's like to grind. He probably saw his dad doing that for years and years and years, and he can relate to all sorts of folks, top and bottom. Certainly helps that he's a smart dude. I like that part of him. I like the fierce side of him. And right before you got on, I don't know if you were listening, but we were saying if you guys wanted to see a softer side of Richard, you wouldn't see it in the first 2 years of Hex, because he was just getting beat up from all angles, but he was fighting back. You're not going to see a gentleman in that situation. Any man worth his, I mean, you're talking about man things. You got to stand up for yourself. You got to stick your chin up in the air and put your shoulders back, and you got to take it on. But now that the community's coming around to it, he's turning into that person that everybody wanted to see. But I like the fact that he's unapologetic about how he acted up until that point. I frankly wouldn't want to see it too many other ways, so I support it.
It's a little bit John Wayne. I mean, that's an older guy that you guys might be familiar with. It's a little bit John Wayne. Like, he was endearing, but there was a joke when I was a kid that you were supposed to have that's John Wayne toilet paper. It doesn't take shit off anybody. Something like that.
That's just how it used to be.
It doesn't take shit from anybody.
Yeah.
Hey, Cash Plus, thanks for the super chat, by the way.
He doesn't do it so much to thump his chest, even though he does like to brag when he's right. He does brag that way, but it is because he's right, and it should punch through the noise. And he doesn't delete tweets, and he doesn't delete content. He doesn't walk back a decision he may have made when he was a Bitcoin maxi. He says, hey, the world changed. Ethereum improved. Now it has economic energy that's been protected. Now it's, so there's a lot of stuff that he explains through his logic. And then also the military, the ex-military people that are, RG3, me, Hexo, there's a lot of military people inside of this community. And, mid 30s to early 40s kind of demographic. It just speaks stronger, I think, than the ADD gamer personality.
Yeah, thank you, by the way, and thanks Motley Investor as well.
Yeah, Motley. It's all these guys.
So Koala Not a Bear wants to know which Spice Girl.
The tallest one. He is 6 foot tall when he's barefoot. I've never seen him barefoot, but he was wearing those Prada boots, and I know that they're about 3-inch.
That would be my guess. Those things are pretty tall. Definite moon boots. Yeah. Hex McKenzie, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, everybody. This has been great. Also, really quick, I just want to get Motley Investor hopefully his money back from the super chat. I got my hat from hexmerch.com.
Yeah.
So I think I've already sold quite a few hats, but
did you guys see
Motley streaming about specifically? I know that I talk about tax stuff. I don't want to talk about it on this channel, but Motley's doing a lot of great research for you guys. I'm doing a lot of research. RG3, me and Hexo, a lot of people are doing stuff so that you can exit your stake whenever you choose to exit your stake without having to move to Puerto Rico or Antigua or become a Portuguese guy or whatever. You don't have to move your lifestyle and stuff like that. So we're working on a lot of stuff in the background for you guys.
I know about that work as well, and it's good stuff. Just but yeah, best not to. We'll save it. All right, we got to catch up on some of the chat stuff. Talks real.
Yeah. Dog is super tall, by the way.
Yeah, you can tell. He just looks tall. He looks tall standing there.
Tall guy.
So Gary, I don't know how much we all have fun messing around with some of the stuff that's some of the rumors and things like that are going on. You've seen this November 18th hint, Easter egg, whatever. You got any thoughts or feelings about it? I don't have any
confirmation, but I think that the logic makes sense. The image made sense as far as 2 chains. The 1118 made sense. I saw the other guy streaming about the fact that it is exactly 2 weeks before the 2-year anniversary, being December 2nd. The warm-up time. I know that we're going to be on stage in London. It's a great time to reveal that it's actually live and functioning. So there's a lot of things that I would point to, and if I were speculating, I would guess myself. I do guess myself that 18th. And it just, maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe it's not true. But it doesn't really change anything. It's just nice.
Yeah, fun to talk about. That's what we've come to as well. It doesn't either way. I'm not going to make any moves either way. I'm 100% staked. I'm just hang out and pump fist because it sounds fun.
Here's what I would say is keep in mind. I'm not saying it's going to be cheap forever in PulseChain. It will be cheap by comparison to Ethereum, and you'll feel elated over it. But I remember when, Ethereum was a penny to do transactions, and it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was December 2019. I remember just price point, congestion. It was a bear market. It was launching during a bear market, Hex was. So price was low to do transactions on that network. And what I remember is how, people, again, were gun shocked or whatever, still shell shocked from 2017. So they didn't really want to stake for more than 6 months and see what happens, maybe a year. Some people said, hey, I'm just going to follow what, the code says, and I'm just going to blindly do it. I know people that are super sharks that just said, hey, made sense. I just did what Richard told me and it worked out. And it did, right? Because they staked 15 years and they walked it back 10 and 8 and 7 and 3. So they did what Kareem talks about as far as that stuff. Don't think that the code of Hex has changed. It will be on PulseChain, sure. Transactions will be cheaper, sure. There'll be people that will participate with lower economic volume, $100 that they stake out, and 99.90 cents of that will be actual economic energy in the movement of Hex on PulseChain. Sure, those are great memes, great truth. But I also remember that people were doing daily stakes. And what they were doing with their daily stakes back in the origin of Hex, they started it out at 1 year, and then they walked it back to be quarterly. And then they wanted to fill in the gaps to have a really pretty staking chart ladder to themselves. And what did they do? They obligated themselves to be at their computer daily. They weren't carrying on with their life. They were looking and obsessing on a daily basis on what have I got to do to get this stake unlocked, to move it into something else or realize it as dollar. Do you get paid daily, or do you want to be a daily wage earner? Be a little bit smarter about your staking pattern when you go on PulseChain, especially, even with the low transaction cost. That's my best advice. I actually have windfall events annually, and I've been doing windfall events for probably 10 years, maybe 15 years. And what that means is most of my salary or income or 1099 or rental incomes and things like that, I funnel into investments, whatever it is that it's appetite at that time. And I live effectively off of credit or my savings. And then once a year, I'll pay off everything. Once a year, I'll have a windfall, like I'll sell a piece of real estate or whatever. I'll clear all the books and be empty. It's the same thing. Kiyosaki and all these people like that, they always say, invest into yourself, invest into things that ROI or cash flow, and then live off of the proceeds from your good work or from your investing thesis. And I think that when you do your staking ladders again on PulseChain version of Hex, consider that. You don't have to have a daily stake. You let it compound longer, quarterly at least, biannually, annually. And just think about like the windfall element. Be more prudent with your economic, with your financial management. That's advice I would give. I know a lot of people that cry over the fact that they have daily stakes now, and they're locked to a laptop or a cell phone for the next several years.
Makes sense. Cash Plus, I just want to say officially, because I kind of interrupted someone before. Thank you so much for the super
Thank
chat.
you, Cash Plus. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys are awesome, man. This has been super cool. We would just be here talking even if you guys weren't here. So it's awesome that people are that people
Guys,
showed up.
I hate to say it, but I got to bounce. I've got bowling night in like 30 minutes, and I got to get ready.
All right.
I thought you were going down to the Walmart to onboard people.
No, that's senior citizen. That's Tuesday nights. That's the Kroger, the K. Roger. Yeah.
K. Roger. All right.
Yeah. Hey, Roger. I love it.
Gary, it's awesome to have you.
Funding Jim, dude, it's nice to talk to you, man. I've never talked to you before.
Yeah.
And he was one of the first people that donated to my Patreon. So thank you very, very much for that.
Yeah. And Richard says that too. Hexo was going to give away pictures and do thumbnails and basically slave over a hot laptop for a long time. And Richard says, hey, if you've got a talent, if you've got a skill, if you're the best in a marketplace, charge for it. And I think that you're putting your face out there. It's not that you're trying to monetize a community. It is that you're saying, hey, I've done some research. I put some hours into my content before I came on stream. I'm being efficient with your time to get this knowledge uploaded or downloaded to you. And so I advise people to do Patreons. Silver did it before, and he did days worth of transaction research, which is very tedious and hard to do. And so if you have a talent, if you have an appetite for something, and you are part of the community, especially if you're public facing, then I'll support you. There's other people that will support you. Valiant Brand has been the most supportive person in Hex. Correct. I suspect often that he's God whale or some shit, because he is always every stream. Valiant Brand is an amazing guy. Motley the same way. It's amazing that these guys give back to promote other people to go through their own self-development. It's really cool.
For me, it was really difficult to figure out how to even talk about a Patreon, because I know how the sheer volume of people that have been getting taken advantage of for the past 10 years in this space. So I had a lot of conversations with some of the guys in my Telegram chat. I'm like, how do I approach this? And it came down to, hey, you can donate. It's that simple. I'm not going to ask anything else. I don't want to come across as the person that I hated, and now have a much better understanding. So, and the thing that I like about this community is it doesn't seem like we have those sharks. I can't really pinpoint one person. I haven't been around that long. Maybe you guys can, but it seems like everybody is on board with helping their fellow man. And I love that about this. I love it.
Well, what I like,
you see that people don't stick around very long if that's what their MO is. They
get found out. They get revealed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what I would say about that is, if you do keep the price point low, it seems reasonable both to people that have wealth and people that are, they're going to scrap by to get $5 to you.
Yeah.
And you'll get another thing is I have a big distaste, and a lot of people have a distaste, whether it's because they have war scars of 17 or whatever, about like trading rooms or like signal rooms and stuff like that. I don't do any of that shit. So if someone has that on their Patreon, then I won't support that. But if it is, hey, I'm a funny guy, I'm working on my comedy, like all of your intros, Rags, and your exits, and even your comment, the hour or however long it takes for you to respond to all the commentary and your jokes, that's worth the Patreon. Just to read that shit. It's amazing.
So good.
That's all I needed.
Well,
I'm going to increase it to 2 hours now.
And Brandon, your real hustle is stealing people's money and bowling. You're about to ruin some weekends.
Dude, he asked me what my average. I average like a solid 96 and 98. I think my average is 98 over 500 games. So I'm crushing.
500 games.
And then I got to go deer hunting tomorrow, dude. It's freaking crazy. Jeez.
Nice.
Well,
dude, I appreciate it, man. That's
good
advice.
If you got to jump off, go ahead. I don't want to end it abruptly just because you got to go. So please, thanks for being here. Matt, did you have something else you wanted to talk about?
No, I just wanted to let you know I'm going to bounce myself here, but I really appreciate. Okay. I mean, this has been a treat for me, so I really appreciate Gary coming in here and sharing with us. It's what makes this stuff special. So thank you very much for paving the way for us.
Yeah, thanks so much. We'll go ahead and end it here. I want to show a couple more things on the screen. Just say hi to other people in chat. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. All the folks that gave the super chats, you guys are rad. It's just coming back in. I mean, this is all it is. We've talked about this. None of us here are doing this for the money. It's really about gratitude and sharing. And I want to also say that there are some references to us and our content and being fresh, but I do also appreciate and think it's important that people that were here before Big Payday, we'll just call it, that are still creating content and doing the work. I'm super appreciative because in a lot of ways people could just sit back. I did a video, 8 reasons I wouldn't bet against Hexicans, and one of those is Hexicans retire and then go to work promoting Hex. It's like, that's amazing. I mean, what's that?
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
There's a lot of professional shillers.
Well, it's not even shilling. And again, I speak to that tone of your arc of being a man in general. I think women too, there's ladies of discourse and things like that, but it just speaks to, hey, I want to share this thing. It's not even that profit matters. It is that you may have a better life if you actually understand the principles of what creates success in life. And it is delayed gratification. It is a sound money principle in my mind. It is this opportunity of building something that's meaningful. So yeah, I think that speaks to all of us.
That's awesome. Well, this is a great place to end. Thank you, gentlemen. Hope everyone has great weekends.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I'll take it easy.
Soon. Thanks, everyone.